Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by John, CEO and founder of Lada Cube. Hi there, John. How are you doing?
Good, Apple. Yeah, thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. I'm quite interested in learning about Lada Cube because I think you guys are doing quite brilliant work in sort of almost revolutionizing, our understanding of construction. And so I'm quite excited about this conversation. Let's talk about Lada Cube. Where did it all begin and what it is exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we are a building tech company. We primarily are focused on really looking at new efficiencies in construction. We call ourselves affectionately the 2x4 of the future. So we really look at building from more of a systematic or productization kind of approach. So whereas you think of most things in life that we purchase are unique products that have inherent value beyond their initial use, construction is one industries that really lacks value beyond its initial application.
Mhm. I mean, I'm sure there might or there is quite a lot that goes behind sort of coming up with a solution and like a product like this. Maybe walk us through how that looks like.
Yeah, so if you can imagine, there's a lot of engineering that goes into this, but really conceptually looking at construction more as a platform of highly repeatable products that really can be combined together to create structure. So we really what we call optimization. So we've optimized essentially 8 standard sizes of wall panels, and those panels really give us efficiencies in manufacturing and production, but also then basically translate to the customer, where even with 8 sizes, you really have an infinite platform of what you can build in terms of floor plans.
Yeah.
So then you have the speed of build because you have these preset digital panels that have incredible tolerances.
This is quite a unique product if I do so say myself. I'm interested in the traction, and how has it performed in the sector so far?
Yeah, so it's we're pioneering kind of this new category. So adoption's always challenging, I think, in those situations. But we've been doing this for about a decade. So over time, we're seeing improved attraction and interest in the product, and primarily because of the inherent values of speed to construct, reusability, so a huge sustainability model. But yeah, we've been blessed to kind of work with some really outstanding companies. I think one of our largest contracts is Walmart here in the U.S., and we oversee the building of stores that have new vision centers and new optometry offices. And so we'll go into those stores and usually build out those structures about 75% faster than how they were being built out traditionally. So, but we do everything from, we're working on a data center project right now. We have some housing innovation stuff we're working on with ADUs or accessory dwelling units. So the category is kind of broad, so we have to be careful too. But we do a lot of tenant improvements, and then, like I said, we're starting to move into housing, actually in South Africa. And I think we've done a total of 6 projects so far for housing in South Africa.
Mm. You guys have been operating now since 2013, if I'm correct. And I'm
Yep.
sure there's been quite, changes within the sector and the landscape. And I mean, obviously, change sometimes comes with a little bit of challenges and sort of requires a lot of pivoting and changing of ideas and coming up with new projects. The audience here for Hustle Wing is mostly side hustlers and contract workers. What projects or even challenges that you guys have that you could see yourselves, leveraging some contract work from some of our network?
Yeah. So, challenges that we're always looking to solve really center around a lot of engineering. Um, so we tend to bring in mechanical engineers. We tend to bring in design engineers. We have a great team that they're kind of really the backbone of all the work that we're doing. But we're kind of on this precipice of tremendous growth. So we've been hiring currently, and I think a couple of those categories. It's pretty broad in terms of opportunities that exist, we have a lot of manufacturing positions that will be coming up shortly. It'll be kind of, if you think of like the future forward view of how we would build a house, kind of almost like how you build a vehicle, in a factory, really trying to pull in those efficiencies. But the excitement in that is there's a lot of automation and, robotics and other unique machinery that, we'll be looking at people to be able to run those machines. So there's going to be, yeah. And then, marketing is a big one as well. We really have some unique videos that we do occasionally, just kind of showcasing the speed of the technology.
Yeah. I mean, again, as I mentioned, you guys have been, around for a while. I'm interested in getting a perspective from you in terms of what have you seen changed over the years? I mean, of course, you guys are in the forefront of sort of revolutionizing the way we think about construction and the way we even just think about, how, I suppose, interior architecture, for lack of a better reference, looks like. How, what have you seen over the years that has changed, and I suppose, again, sort of inspired you guys to find yourselves in this very quite dynamic space?
Yeah, thank you, Apple. That's a really good question. There's a lot of depth to it. I think early on when really the vision for Lada Cube came in 2010, landscape really didn't lend itself to the ideation of Lada Cube being something that may be successful. But I think the things that have really shifted over the last number of years have primarily been cost to build has been really challenging. And then it's kind of been this perfect storm that we've seen occur where you have ever increasing cost to build, whereas other legacy industries, like electronics or automobiles, historically those costs have stabilized or even come down in some instances. Construction is one of those industries that has just never had that technological revolution for the 21st century, and we're still building stuff very archaically. And so what we see is you have an opportunity, I think, over time to bring the costs to build down. And then there's another category that, really YouTube was a big innovator in this idea, which was, you took this legacy media, uh, kind of these companies, and they really were the gatekeepers of media. And then YouTube came in, and now it's like anybody could start their own news station. From an airwave standpoint, anybody could start their own, series of video content. And so we kind of see the same thing with construction. So construction has this huge glut of lack of skilled labor, this pool that's just disappearing. And so really a product like ours comes in and kind of creates a whole new narrative of like who can build. And we kind of refer to those as the creatives. And so we feel like the future of construction lies in this whole new, labor pool that are these creatives that can really actually now build structure because it's this digital platform that works for everybody.
Hmm, that's interesting because I think, again, as you said, we haven't. Now that you mentioned it just now, that when we talk a lot about the emergence of digital technologies and how they sort of disrupted a lot of industries, the conversation within the construction space has been very sort of limited, and we haven't seen quite a lot of movement around this. So it's quite interesting, actually, that you guys are sort of almost leading in that conversation, and sort of starting the conversation just around thinking, around how you can use, I suppose, digital technologies to almost sort of push the envelope and sort of have different perspectives and different ideas around how construction looks like in the future. I like that. What's the ultimate vision and goal for Lada Tube?
Yeah, I think, our vision really is to create this new sustainable future for construction. So where we can look at, high level reusability, where you can take a product through an assembly, you can reconfigure it within the structure that it's in, at a low cost and at speed. But then over time, you can relocate it. If you move to a new location, you could take that structure with you, or you could resell it. So you, instead of having these fixed costs that where the model is now, where if you tear something apart, you demo it, you literally your value goes to zero on that part. We really see just this huge sustainability model. And then I kind of reflect back into that category we were just talking about, which is what I would refer to as democratization of construction, where you can have a whole new pool of people that have this new and found freedom to build structure, and that it actually works. And sometimes we refer to it as like the IKEA effect, where you can go to IKEA and you can purchase different products, but it's kind of a similar concept, where you can go online, you can figure out these components you want. You can even do a configurator online. So we're always looking at computational designers. So UX and UI is what I meant to say. And so really these models that really free the world to build structures.
Awesome. Before I let you go, John, for folks who want to learn more about the work that you guys do, where can they find Lada Cube online?
Yeah, so our website's www.ladacube.com, and we are on all the social media avenues. LinkedIn, Instagram are probably two of the primary ones we use, and they carry a lot of content information and a lot of updates, weekly. So you can kind of see the projects we're doing, the uniqueness in the design and the application. So yeah, those are probably the best ways to get a hold of us.
Awesome. John, it's been a brilliant conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Apple.